Along the lines of the defense, Nathan Zegura, Browns analyst, radio analyst, talked about the edge rusher room after Ogbo Okoronkwo was released.
I think they really like Isaiah McGuire and what they saw out of him last year. I think they really like Alex Wright as well. So you've got Miles as the number one. And then I can tell you they have a very good start to the offseason. Again, no pads are on. We don't know anything about, that. But Joe Tryon-Shoyinka has been very impressive. Former first-round pick of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's been very impressive. And so he's a guy that they really think can be a big-time edge rusher. That's why he was drafted with that kind of pedigree. They also like Julian Okwara, who they signed. And then we can't forget that last year Cam Thomas played really well for the Cleveland Browns when he got opportunities on there.
So, Tim, defensive line is a strength. And if it plays as well as the people who kind of follow this closely think, how big of a lift is that for a defense?
Massive. I mean, how many times when we've talked about Jim Schwartz, his defenses hinge on having great defensive line play. Obviously, when you have Myles Garrett, it helps. But I think the fact that we've seen guys like Alex Wright and Isaiah McGuire really flash over the last couple of years, right at the end of year two, McGuire in year two really flashing. It bodes well for the depth of this defensive line, that you have those two guys on rookie contracts who are mid-round picks, Wright being a third, McGuire a fourth, that are producing, that are productive, and that have the ability to potentially be starters. Obviously, we didn't get to see what Alex Wright was capable of last season because of his tricep injury, but, with him in the last year of his rookie contract, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a big season. Same thing with Isaiah McGuire, especially with those guys, potentially competing for a starting job opposite Myles Garrett. We'll have a chance to see both those guys take on larger roles, you would have to imagine, this fall. And the X factor about all of this is if Mason Graham is anything like expected right away. I've said before, defensive tackle, I feel like, is a hard position to really succeed in the NFL early, but if he could play at least at a solid level right away and show close to what he was at Michigan, especially early in his rookie season before I think he could really hit the ground running potentially in year two, like most D tackles. Then you have two guys in Garrett and Graham who'd be creating pressure points and really make it easier for the rest of the defensive line to get things done.